Hey everybody, Jordan with the Young Turks and TYT Politics. Hope everybody is well on Monday. I had a very nice weekend of napping and blowing my nose. As you could hear, I'm pretty stuffed up, a little swollen. Just got nasal surgery, so I'm breathing a little bit better, but my nose is pretty swollen and have a lot of good stuff coming out of it. So I'll leave it at that. Hopefully, once I get cleaned out by the doctor in a few days, I'll be up and breathing pretty well. But getting out of the house today because I'm getting a little house crazy. Pretty much been sitting around for the last 3 days. Wanted to talk to you about the big political story. I tend to kind of not follow what everybody else is following, but I don't really think you could ignore Hillary Clinton's what looked like a complete collapse yesterday. She left a September 11th memorial ceremony within an hour, and nobody knew what had happened. There were reports from Fox News, which I always kind of, it's trust but verify if it comes from Fox News, saying that she basically fainted and stumbled into her van. Because it's the Clintons, they keep the press pool pretty far away, so nobody in the press pool that travels with her witnessed this. And then the press was left wondering for an hour where she was, why she had left, all that. So there was secrecy behind it, only till a viral video went around showing the incident, which basically showed her in front of the van that was going to take her away. And as the door opened, she was being helped by looked like a Secret Service agent as well as an aide, literally having to be held to walk into the van. And you could see that she couldn't walk on her own weight. She was stumbling until right before getting to the van. It looked like she kind of stumbled, completely lost her balance, and kind of stumbled into the van. Now, pretty much I believe like an hour after all this broke, her campaign issued a statement that she wasn't feeling well. She felt, quote, overheated, which to me means dehydrated. And she went to her daughter's, luxurious apartment in Manhattan to go rest. Wish we all had that, that as a fallback to when we don't feel well. And only later, the news started pouncing on this. Obviously, you have the parallel. It's 9/11, so the news wants to cover the 15-year anniversary. It's a very solemn day, but you couldn't not cover this. So only hours later, her campaign comes out that on Friday, she was diagnosed with pneumonia, and treatment is antibiotics. So since then, there's been, complaints, the fact, why weren't we told this on Friday? Why did it take her essentially collapsing on Sunday to know that she was diagnosed with pneumonia? But also, more importantly, this continues the secrecy of the Clintons. If nothing happened on Sunday, maybe we wouldn't have known that a candidate running for president, who right now is leading in many polls, has pneumonia. I'm not trying to be ageist, but she's not a spring chicken. She's 68 years old. I've never had pneumonia, but for younger, healthy people, pneumonia could be a serious thing that, if not caught and treated aggressively, could turn into worse. But for someone, 65 and above, studies have shown it's much harder to recover from this. So there was the secrecy, and now the press, because whenever the press doesn't feel like they're getting access, they make that the story because they're very focused on themselves. So they're making it the story, why weren't we told on Friday that she was diagnosed with pneumonia? Even David Axelrod, Obama's senior aide who helped get him elected, sent out a tweet essentially saying, there's a treatment for pneumonia. What's the treatment for never-ending privacy? Essentially saying why didn't they just get this out there and be honest about it? And that's coming from David Axelrod, longtime Democrat, in Obama's right-hand man, no longer with the Obama administration. So let me get into it. I've gotten a lot of comments. I've seen a lot of comments. I'm not going to get into what I think is wrong with Hillary Clinton. I'm not a doctor, and I think as much as people might really, really dislike her and not think she's fit to be president, which I happen to agree with, I think it's taking it a step too far to then get into we're all doctors and I know what it is and she has epilepsy or she has this or she has that. No, nobody knows. Nobody knows what if there's anything further wrong with her. We know that she had a concussion years ago due to a fall. We know that she has had a coughing fit for months. That could be because of seasonal allergies. So I think it's taking it too far to take this incident and make it a bigger thing that this is the smoking gun and she's secretly dying and all these things. I don't know that, and frankly, you don't know that. So I don't believe from the brief reports I've read, I do know that pneumonia can make you dehydrated. So the question is, if you're dehydrated, does it make for what we saw on the video, which is, I mean, she literally could not walk. She had to be carried. So, everybody's different. Everybody is different. If I had pneumonia, maybe I'd be able to be out in the sun a little bit longer versus somebody else. You don't know. I don't wish anything poor or bad on Hillary Clinton as a person. I mean, I don't agree with her policies. I think they've been very detrimental. I think she has, really aided and, helped expand the military-industrial complex. I think her and Bill Clinton, when he was president, really screwed African Americans, helped the income inequality explode. But, as a progressive and just a good person, I'm not wishing illness on someone. But what it does show is two things. Number one, health is an issue. Mental health should be an issue too, because some of the things Donald Trump says, you wonder if he's all there. But physical health is an issue. And we all know, I mean, the low information voter who doesn't follow politics as diehard as you or I, if they see ads with a candidate who they haven't made up their mind, stumbling into a van, not on her own weight, I mean, that's powerful stuff. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but just as a political matter, it's not a good look for a man or a woman. I don't buy this bullshit. People are being sexist towards Hillary Clinton, and nobody would treat if it was Trump this happened to or Bernie this happened to. Let me tell you something. If Bernie collapsed and couldn't, had to be carried, the Democrats would be calling for him to drop out immediately. That's for sure. So I don't think this is a case of sexism or anything like that. I think what you're seeing is a candidate who has very high untrustworthy ratings, a candidate who does not come across authentic unless, frankly, it's behind closed doors to her donors, which I'll get to in a minute, and a candidate who is secretive. I mean, if Hillary Clinton's people would have just come out on Friday or Saturday and said, Secretary Clinton has had a cough for weeks due to allergies, and she went to the doctor and has a mild case of pneumonia. We're gonna, we're going to observe over the weekend and make decisions on her travel schedule for the next week. It would be a non-story. Honestly, she might have not gone to the 9/11 ceremony because of this pneumonia and because the press knew about it. I'm sure there would be some who criticized her, but I mean, pneumonia is pneumonia. So I think at the end of the day, why be so secretive? And the answer is, this is a woman. This is a political dynasty, Bill Clinton, her, that do not want people to know who they really are, even if it's something that could happen to any of us, which is pneumonia. She wanted to give off the impression that she is, nothing's wrong. She, frankly, if you have to ask what's more important to Hillary Clinton, canceling speeches on the West Coast, which she had coming up this week, or canceling fundraisers on the West Coast, I think we all know she doesn't want to cancel those fundraisers. By the way, there's reports saying that Bill Clinton might go stand in for Hillary Clinton at these West Coast fundraisers. So obviously, we know where their priorities are. But I think what's important is, how does this affect the race? Because Donald Trump, for a first, has actually kept quiet about this. He just spoke about it for the first time this morning. Basically said, I wish her well. I hope she recovers, speedy recovery. And when asked, is this going to be a campaign issue, said, yeah, it is a campaign issue. So I think it is a campaign issue because you're going to have ads on a loop showing her, frankly, stumbling into a van, juxtapose that with the fact that they were all secretive about it. Oh, she's overheated. Then later we tell you she had pneumonia. I mean, why not come out with that right away? It's not some. There's no guilt involved. You've been traveling the country. It's a very demanding schedule, whether it's the speeches. Frankly, in August, she did more fundraisers than actual speeches. And you picked up between your cough and your allergies, whatever. Now, for all the comments, what do I think it's pneumonia? Again, I'm not gonna play doctor because I don't know. I could interview doctors, but every single person you interview, you got to learn has their own motives. So I trust, I give her the benefit of the doubt when a doctor has come out saying, she was diagnosed with pneumonia on Friday. I think it would be a very risky and frankly dangerous thing for her to do, to have a doctor say, she has pneumonia, if it's something else than that. Could she possibly have something else? Yes, but I don't know that. And it's not professional of me, and I'm not going to just tell you what you want to hear. I know a lot of you hate Hillary Clinton and, want to say it's epilepsy or it's Parkinson's or whatever. I don't know. Maybe some of you have more personal experience, family members, yourself, with certain illnesses, and when you look at her, you see the symptoms. That's possible, but I don't have the expertise, so I'm not going to speculate. I can only tell you that I think it's a very bad look, that, this is what happens when you're secretive. She tried to push through. She tried to kind of make it a secret that she had this, and she ended up leaving this event, not telling any of the press. So the press is already angry towards her. And then on video, some independent person caught her essentially collapsing into a van. That's going to be on loop in all the swing states. It's going to be on loop on important states. By the way, new polls out today. It's within the margin of error between her and Trump. Arizona, New Hampshire, Nevada, Georgia. So all close states. New Hampshire is very surprising because she was crushing Trump in New Hampshire as of a month ago. And now it's within the margin of error. So you juxtapose that. You also have WikiLeaks is continuing to dangle that they have something big, and they're going to drop it. I would think they're going to drop it before the first presidential debate, which would be next week. So the bottom line is, this is not good for Hillary Clinton. I've always said, if you've been following my videos, it's not just important what comes out about Hillary Clinton. It's equally important to see if Donald Trump on the same day doesn't become the story by putting his foot in his mouth. So far, he hasn't. He's kind of kept it above the fray. He has said, I'm not going to get involved with that, and that's been that. So that is the story. Again, I'm not going to speculate. I don't know what's wrong with her. I'll take the word. I'm a cynical person. That's why I'm a journalist. But, I think if you have Parkinson's, if you have epilepsy, that's not. It's a difficult thing. Having known people who have had those, it's a very difficult thing to mask, especially when you're giving speeches and you're in the public eye. That's not something easy to cover up. Let's put it that way. So I will give it the benefit of the doubt. She has pneumonia. Does that mean because she contracted pneumonia, she's not fit to be president? No. I mean, presidents have gotten sick. We had one president that was paralyzed in a wheelchair. He was one of the greatest presidents of our time. So it's not that I don't think her health is why she's not fit to be president. You already know why I think she's not fit to be president.